Highlands in areas of Lanarkshire have experienced severe flooding due to torrential rain. In other news, a manhunt is still underway across 3 districts for a murder suspect. He is described as medium height, short dark hair, and athletic build.
Who's there?
Hi, I'm Sophia Jessica, and this is Angel, and welcome to the fan carpet.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
How was your day?
It was okay. Been really looking forward to coming on here and talking with you about things, so
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it myself. So I haven't finished watching it yet, but I've almost finished watching Convergence.
Oh, fantastic. That
I
really
think
means a lot.
Yeah, I think I've got like 20 minutes left of it. So you're just in the church at the minute. So yeah.
Brilliant. It really means a lot when people go through your sort of past
Yeah.
projects and maybe see things that weren't as highlighted as much in the media and things.
Yeah.
It's a project that I'm really proud of, Convergence. Made that. That was my first feature film as
Okay.
leading lady back
Yeah.
in 2019.
I'm enjoying it. I watched your show reel before I watched Convergence, so I had already seen the scene that you open with so I'd already seen that scene. So, but yeah, it was nice to see it in context.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that's another one that you really go for. So yeah.
Yeah, it was my first role that I felt I could really sort of flex my acting chops, I guess. Um, I'd worked on a lot of short films before that, and it was the first opportunity to really show what I could do, and bring a range of emotions there
Yeah.
and a, a journey to a character. There was quite a good character arc, and that was one of the reasons why I took on the role of Lily in Convergence. Is
Yeah.
I like sort of slowly revealing parts of a character,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
it's
that
awesome.
sort of ties into Death Among the Pines,
It
playing
does.
Angela, because she is. There's a lot more than meets the eye there as well.
Yep, there is. All right. So, if we go back to the beginning, was there a defining moment for you to get into the industry?
So I always loved the arts and being creative, and I always would put on my little improv shows when I was a kid. Probably bored my mum and dad to tears with the amount of stories that I would make up, but uh, I would just always love to be performing in some way. And even my brother, like he would like to put on, he didn't go into acting himself, but he would always like to put on like magic shows. He was into like doing magic, so I would always offer to be like the glamorous assistant. So even when I wasn't, the center, I always wanted to be like involved in some way.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Awesome.
always watch like TV shows and films like on repeat. Um, I would watch VHSs when I'd go to bed as a sort of self-soothing thing to try and help me sleep. So it got to the point where I would know movies like line by line, and I was like, this would be interesting to get into. So when it got to being a teenager, I quite lacked the confidence. But I would say doing drama at class in high school really sort of opened my eyes to the possibilities because our teacher would take us to legs of the theatre to go and see plays and musicals. And yeah, that sort of really opened my eyes. Like, people locally do this for work. It
All
always
right.
seemed like a sort of dream, like not attainable for people from like my background. And yeah, just seeing live theatre and musicals sort of just put an idea in my head, I wouldn't mind trying that out. But again, it was the lack of confidence that I had that I felt sort of held me back. So what I did was I went to college And I said to myself, right, if I gain confidence, if I can push through, my self-esteem issues and gain confidence and get experience on stage, then I'm really going to give this a go. And it was, shout out to Kate and Bill, my lecturers, and um, my teacher in high school, Marc. They all did their part in helping me to come out my shell. And I did a lot of fine tuning in college. And I would say I actually learned quite a lot on the job as well.
Mm.
So it was through just pushing myself out my comfort zone with college that made me think, right, this is actually feasibly a career choice. Now
Mm.
that I've pushed through, what I felt was my own limitations. And I did my first short film about 15 years ago, and I love the stage. I love the stage and I love film, but they're very different in the sense that with stage you get that immediate sort of feedback, that
Mhm.
satisfaction, that buzz. Everyone loves the immediate buzz, but with film, you never know what direction it's going to go in terms of distribution. You don't know what audiences are going to see it, or whether or not it's going to be in the cinema or on streaming sites. Because quite a lot of my stuff that I made, years ago didn't really get seen. So yeah, you have less control in a sense when it comes to film, but there's a lot of positive points to film as well. I think I love film because you can play it in different takes so many different ways. I
Mm.
think you're more prone to like experiment with different takes, and that's kind of what we did. I really enjoyed working with Steve Johnson on Convergence actually, um, because that's what he did. He encouraged me to play it in different ways, and then
Mm.
when it came to the edit, he would cut different takes together to help you know, emphasize that sort of arc
Mm.
in a scene. So yeah, actors, you've got to credit your editors
Yeah.
because they have a good eye for selecting, your best sort of takes and things and kind of blending it all together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I
Um,
went a bit of a
no,
tangent
it's all
there.
right. No, absolutely not. It's all good. No, great. Yeah, and I suppose with Convergence, also one of the challenges for that is that you're playing a character that can't read. So you have to portray that as well, even though you've read the role and that you're just bringing that through. So did you
Yeah.
have to like do your own research for that, or?
When it comes to film, I like to do quite an extensive background. Whether or not any of that actually makes the film, I think it's good for me to understand um, and fully immerse myself in the character and what motivates them and why they are the way they are to this day. And um, sometimes there's little things that can sort of seep through, even subconsciously, into a
Mhm.
performance if you have, done your work and really studied and done your homework essentially. Um, but yeah, there was some improv that actually happened. I think you would have got there. I'm not sure. So spoiler alert. Apologies if you've not got to that point in the film because I can't remember where it is. It's been that long since I've seen it. But there's a point where, you get those like little it's just after I opened this like little puzzle thing made of paper,
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
and
Yeah.
there's a note on it.
Hmm.
And there's a point in that scene where I actually pick up the paper and I try and find the words. And I'm just fighting through that frustration and fighting through the tears and just, I'm mad at myself and I'm so annoyed. And that just sort of happened naturally when we were doing that scene. I just got the idea when I was sitting there, and Steve was really delighted with that because that's not something that made the final script. So that was a proper collaboration, that, because they also let me add my own little monologue in the cafe. You know, he wrote a sort of blueprint for what he wanted me roughly to say, but then he was like, you know, if you want to change this into your own words and add anything, you know. So it's nice to give that, it's nice to be given that sort of freedom. I like that, you know, that's a proper collaboration. And I understand and I respect that directors have a very specific vision, so I would never like be offended if they want something done a certain way, or if the writer is dead set on having something done a certain way. But I think that it's also nice when you're given an opportunity to sort of make them a wee bit more three-dimensional with your own spin on it and your own sort of interpretation of things.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it shows it's a great scene. And yes, that scene's already happened. Where you woke up. I think he was inviting you to breakfast or something. Or your character, I think, was inviting you to breakfast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had to
uh,
think there. It's been a while.
yeah. But it's a good film. I like it. So what can you tell us about Death Among the Pines and what it was that made you want to tell this story, and in particular about Angela that spoke to you as a performer?
So, just a wee breather. I'm going to take a wee sip of water.
Yeah, go for it.
So, Death Among the Pines is a thriller set in a remote cottage in the countryside in Scotland. I play Angela, who has this knock on the door in the middle of the night from a stranger who claims that his car's broken down. Her suspicions arise later when a police officer comes to the door and he says he's investigating a manhunt for an escaped criminal. So without spoilers, it's a story that features a lot of paranoia and not knowing who she can trust.
Yeah.
Going back to your other questions, I immediately fell in love with the script. When Nathan and Tom approached me with it, as soon as I heard that there was some inspiration from, there's a film called You'll Never Find Me. I don't know if you've seen it
No, I've
on
not seen that
Shepka.
one. No. Not seen that one.
I got really excited about it because I'd watched that film. It's a great film, and became a huge fan of it. It stars an actress called Jordan Cowan and Brendan Rock, and I thought they did an exceptional job. It's a two-hander. It's two-hander in the one location, and I told myself I'd really love to work in a performance piece like that, where you know your storytelling through your action and what you don't say drives it forward rather than, you know, all the shiny fancy stuff with, you know, high production value, fight sequences and explosions and all that. Like it's very nuanced. Um, so I really like the idea of a small cast and the majority of it being in the one location. And there's also I'm a big fan of Stephen King, and there's a couple of like misery influences in there. And of course, I know that Tom took a lot of inspiration from like Alfred Hitchcock. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of like classic horror, and I thought that it had quite a lot of those elements. And I particularly liked the idea of it being in a cozy wee cottage for the majority of it because I'd previously worked on projects where I'd been out in the middle of nowhere and the freezing cold. I don't so much care as being out in the middle of nowhere because I'm an introvert and I like to be away from things and people and noises and things. But yeah, weather. It's nice to be kept warm when you're working on something. Uh, for Angela, I was really drawn to her because, as you'll know from like Lily and Convergence, and I don't know if you've seen Mercy Falls, Carla. You should definitely watch that. I mean, I know I'm biased. I'm like, oh yeah, you should definitely watch my work, but I really enjoyed seeing that, and it's a film that I would really watch. I would really enjoy watching if I wasn't involved in it. It's another thriller that's set in Scotland. So it's all the films that I've been in have been really, really highlighting like the beauty of Scotland. So I'm really proud of that. But anyway, I'm going on a bit of a tangent.
That's all right. Yeah.
No. So for Angela, I really love the multifaceted characters as my past work sort of shows, and people that have a lot more going on that what meets the eye. And Angela, she's someone that's trying to keep her secrets hidden under a lot of pressure. And I sort of like those high stakes scenarios.
Awesome. Never apologize for living in a beautiful part of the country. I love it in
Yeah.
Scotland. I've only been to Edinburgh, but I love it in Scotland. It's really nice. I was up there the last time. I took the dog up to. My dad was going to Egypt with my brother, and
Oh, wow.
so he needed someone to look after his dog. So I went up there with my dog for a couple of weeks. That was
Oh,
in February. That
brilliant.
was in February. So like just walking around, like taking the dogs out for a walk, like walking along the beach area and stuff like that. It was just really cool and like just incredibly scenic. Like
I have to say, I feel very lucky to live in such a beautiful country. I'm
yeah,
really
no,
proud.
it is. It is a
You don't have
beautiful.
to go far. You don't have to go far in Scotland to kind of feel like you're out in a completely different place.
Yeah,
Um, it's great. It's great for indie filmmaking because you've got, a lot of great environments and locations just right at your
yeah,
doorstep. You don't have to travel very far. Um, but yeah,
yeah,
glad you
absolutely.
had a nice time.
Yeah, no, I did. I love it in Scotland. The first time I went up there was during Christmas, when my brother lived in a different place, but it was still Edinburgh. But yeah, went up and like did the whole Christmas and Hogmanay. So yeah, love it up there.
Oh,
Um,
Edinburgh's lovely during Christmas time when it's
mm,
all lit up and you've got, I wouldn't get on them myself, but you've got the swings. I don't know what you call them, but the ones that like go up high. Well,
yeah,
I don't know
not for
what you
me.
call them, but
Well, I mean, it sounds like a roller coaster, but yeah, it's not
yeah.
for me. Not
I
for
went
me.
on the big wheel one year and sort of trying to get over my fear of heights.
Right.
Uh, so I challenged myself with going on that. Had a few glasses of wine before it, mind you. That could have ended up badly, but thankfully not. I survived and I didn't vomit, so that was great.
Excellent. Yeah. So
Went on a bit of
a
a
couple of
tangent there.
yeah, a couple of wins. Yeah, absolutely, a couple of wins. So what does it mean for you to be a storyteller and tell stories in this way?
Um, I wouldn't want to do anything else. I am happiest when I'm telling stories in any capacity, whether that's, um, reading a book out to kids that need some entertainment or doing a play or doing a film. Although my heart is in film, I'd really love to do more TV, but we'll get into that in a bit. Um, I think it's a real privilege to tell stories in this way, and I think that I'm always really grateful whenever I get a job because it's literally like my dream come true. If and when it comes to um, how important and how cherished it is to do the job that I do, um, for me, if I can help someone escape from the troubles and worries that they have in their life, or whether it's 5 minutes or an hour, then I feel like my job's done.
Mm,
Or to just make someone feel something and to relate to whoever I'm portraying on screen. Um, it's like film has, or any storytelling, you have the capacity to transport someone to a completely different world and immerse themselves in another person's world and life. And I think it's like a modern sort of magic.
mm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. absolutely. So can you talk about the location work in Death Among the Pines, because it's quite a secluded place and out the way, with vast fields and wooded areas.
Yeah, well, we were in the middle of cottage for the middle of nowhere for the main block of filming, which is what you see in most of the film. It's a very old school wee cottage, and I quite loved that. And it was great because um, with the weather, it started to rain quite heavily, and it's actually raining in the script when Nathan's character Kevin comes on the scene. So it was great to be able to set the environment and the atmosphere right away, even though it wasn't like planned. So thanks, Scottish weather.
Hmm.
Being out in the middle of nowhere certainly added to feelings like of vulnerability, and it kind of felt like you were a sitting duck.
Yeah.
It was quite creepy at night, because it's an old wee place. I mean, it's a beautiful wee place, but it's quite aged, and the floorboards creaked at night whenever anyone was walking upstairs, and um, it's I wouldn't mind going back. It's quite a quaint wee cozy place. I believe it's an Airbnb. So if anyone wants to go and experience the it for themselves, then they can.
Cool. Awesome. Even though they do like some like wonderful things with like things like the volume and the LCD screens and stuff like that in Star Wars and stuff like that. Being in a real location, there's nothing like it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, helps you immerse yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
As a performer as well, it's nice to actually be in the place that you're filming.
Mm,
I know that there's the limitations of like with indie film with budget wise, like sometimes it's just not possible. Like, no, we can't, go to a castle and film. We're going to have to green screen, this bit, which is fine.
yeah, yeah,
But it's problem solving. I think when it's used in a sense of like problem solving and getting around something rather than just using it as the first point of call, then
yeah,
yeah, that's fair
absolutely.
enough.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you have any memories from filming Death Among the Pines that stand out to you?
I'm laughing because the makeup artist will know exactly what I'm talking about, but I can't repeat it. It's not PG.
Okay.
So it's sort of also difficult to mention without spoilers.
Yeah,
But everyone had such a great sense of humor. And that's what it's all about for me, is enjoying the experience and
yeah,
making sure everyone else around me enjoys it. And um, it's the joy of creating, being able to do what we love. It's like I take my job seriously,
mm,
but I'd like to think I don't take myself too seriously. And you got to remember why we get into film making. It's because we love it, because we enjoy it, because we want to have fun. So that's really important for me. And the people that you work with on any project matter a lot, especially when you're working on like long days or long nights. It's good to have that morale boost. And everyone on that project was so much fun to work with. It was my first time working with Nathan, so it was really nice to sort of get that experience, and hopefully would lead to more work perhaps with them. Who knows? I'd work with them all again in a heartbeat.
awesome. Yeah, he's made quite a few like good looking films. I haven't seen
Yeah,
them
I
all,
really
but
enjoyed Baby in the Basket.
okay, great,
I just watched that recently.
nice.
Yeah, really enjoyed that. And your friend Amber,
Yeah, Amber,
had
yeah,
that?
Amber
Yeah, she was
Dwyborn, yeah,
great.
she's in that. So
Yeah,
plays the nun. So that's awesome.
she was great.
Yeah, awesome. I need to watch that one. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you
Um,
should.
yeah, I haven't yet, but I will. So over the years, you've had some incredible co-stars. Kate Dickie comes to mind. What was that experience like, and what wisdom would you impart to an actor just starting out?
Working with anyone that you've seen on the big screen is a really big deal for me. You know, because there was a time in my life where I would never have imagined sharing um the screen with anyone, although I wasn't in any scenes with Kate Dickie. She certainly is a notable actress representing Scotland. She's done a great body of work and she's a really lovely person. So yeah, it's always really nice to meet people whose work you admire. And although I said we weren't in any scenes, we had the opportunity to chat and you know, she was very encouraging and very down to earth. And it's always nice when, you know, people that you hope are going to be nice are actually, you know, live up to, you know, their good reputation and things. So, yeah, that was lovely. It was lovely sharing, being on a cast list with likes of Samuel Jackson and Vincent Cassell, which never would have dreamed of, you know. Um, but yeah, it's like I played a small role in Damaged, but it was a sort of integral scene to the whole film. You know, opening scene of a
Mhm.
film like that was just brilliant. And I thought that they did, going on a bit of a tangent again, but I thought that they
All right.
did a great job with that. And Gianni Capaldi, that was the lead in that as well. He's worked on quite a good number of films and another Scot representing. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's always good to see. So advice, sort of, yeah, I've been given a lot over the years. So it's hard to sort of pinpoint, but my main ones would, and I know it's so cliche, but is just being yourself and sort of leaning into what makes you you and not watering down, you know, your hobbies or your interests. And because sometimes that can make you stand out. And sometimes you know, one of your hobbies actually might cross over with a project. You know, if you're into, say, like archery or comic books, you might get the opportunity where that knowledge and that experience or skill or whatever you're into actually appears in the film and would be beneficial to your character.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm a big nerd and I like to show my nerdiness on online quite a lot. I love going to like all the conventions and um dressing up as Lara Croft when I can. I'm a huge Tomb
Yeah,
Raider fan. So yeah, you know, it's do what makes you happy and focus on the projects that fulfill you as any artist, I would say. Um, if it brings you joy, then that's the most important thing.
yeah, absolutely. And be kind to all the crew.
Yes, yes. Just be kind to everyone. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like this idea of sort of hierarchy. Everyone is there to do a job. Everyone has a role in order to get the job done, sorry, to get the film made. So
Mm.
everyone is important. It doesn't matter who you are on that cast list. It's all about, you know, coming together as a team because making a film is teamwork and it's a lot of hard work. So yeah, there's no reason to go out your way to be nasty to anyone. No time for that.
Absolutely. I find that a lot with independent films. I was recently on a set with Marc Zammit, who's a friend of mine. Um, and he's done a horror film called Jitters. And I was on set like for three days, I think, of the shoot. And on one of them, we set a guy on fire. It was a fire stunt. It was all
Yeah.
completely safe, but it looked incredible. And yeah, but everyone's just there, just mucking in and like just making sure that everyone's safe and it's all hands on. And yeah, it's great. No egos, just getting the job done.
Yeah. No
Yeah,
egos. That's
yeah.
that's what attracts me to working with people actually.
Mhm.
It's it's not just, you know, what they have, what they've worked on. and their experience, but it's also like who you are as a person. I want to, feel comfortable and enjoy working with the people that I do. If I have a choice, I mean, sometimes you don't have a choice, and
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to grit your teeth and get through it. But I've been very lucky that the majority of people that I've worked with have been very supportive and, always keep you in mind for things. And I would I can see why people like to work with the same people over and over in indie film because, being reliable and knowing who you're working with
Yeah.
certainly helps you do the job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So what does the future hold for Death Among the Pines, and do you think there's more story to tell from Angela's point of view?
I would love to. I would really love to do a sequel. So, Nathan, Tom, if you want to. I think there's definitely opportunity there for potentially a sequel. Um, I think she's got a really interesting backstory. I mean, as I said earlier in the interview, I like to do quite an extensive backstory myself, whether or not that makes the film or not. Um, so yeah, I mean, I might send it over to Tom and see if he thinks that he would like to expand on that and see. But yeah, there's certainly potential there, and
Yeah,
I would certainly be up for it.
awesome. Yeah, be your own Pearl trilogy. I've said that to you before, but yeah, be your own,
Yeah. Oh
your
yeah,
own
I'd
Pearl
be game.
trilogy.
I'd be game.
Yeah, awesome. So who inspires you in the industry?
Anyone staying true to themselves and making art for the love of making it their priority rather than becoming preoccupied with things like fame. Um, I realize, like, when it comes to film, that it's a business and it's a fine balance of putting what you want out there while trying to make returns on it. However, I think that people get too focused on numbers and profits rather than staying true to a film's vision. So if, a director or writer is dead set on portraying the film that they want to, they're not easily influenced by trends. Have a lot of respect for that. And when it comes to my industry, I think it takes a certain level of strength to put up with the uncertainty that comes along with the nature of the industry and the regular rejections that we have to put up with and endure. So anyone that continues to show up for their dreams and the arts despite having obstacles in their way, because it's not easy. But if we're talking like particular people, two people sprung to mind, and that's Rhys Seahorn and Bob Odenkirk in Better Call Saul.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought they did an exceptional job with their character arc and their performances, and really just like hit me and the gut. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do, because I really love their work, and performance wise I think they're very underrated.
Yeah, absolutely. So are there any other aspects of the industry that you'd like to pursue, or do you feel that you've hit your stride now?
I would love to explore more genres like sci-fi and definitely more television roles. I feel with television there's an opportunity for more character development over time,
Mm-hmm.
and you can take your time with slowly revealing aspects and expanding a character, and there's more story opportunities there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So the thriller genre is very versatile, basically able to pair it with anything. Is this the genre that you gravitate towards the most?
I would say so, yeah. I like films with varying degrees of tension and high stakes for characters, like again I mentioned earlier on, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a huge fan of thrillers as an audience member. So um yeah, I do love thrillers, but I don't want to limit myself to one genre,
Yeah,
even though I do have my favorites.
absolutely.
I do love like survival thrillers and
Yeah,
psychological thrillers.
Yeah.
I grew up with likes of like Alien, the original Alien films.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I was a huge Sigourney Weaver fan, and I think that sort of put things in motion for me for my love of strong female characters that
Mhm.
sort of lead the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of my influences from my younger years were actually horror, so I think that's maybe another reason why I'm so sort of driven to it.
Yeah.
I did
Fun fact about Ellen Ripley.
was originally written for a man.
That's right. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
That was what I was going to say. But yeah, it just goes to show that. I mean, I think they decided early on, like to not specify the gender, and they just
yeah,
hired the best person for the job, which I think is the way to go.
yeah,
Because they've made an icon.
yeah. I think that if you can write a script and it not have to be determined by
mm,
gender, then I think you've done a really good job as a writer.
yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I think we put like too much limitations on, what women, how the way that women act and the way that men act, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
sometimes there's people are just people.
Um,
One of my favorite films is Copycat.
oh yeah. Cool.
I love doing Copycat, but I actually got to work with Billy, William McNamara, that plays the killer in Copycat. I got to work with him 9 years ago in
Nice.
Italy. It's on a Italian zombie TV series. Um, so he was lovely. He was really down to earth, and he loves his dogs as well. So
Awesome.
anyone that's into animals, like I will get along with.
Yeah.
Animal people are my people.
Like my favorite film of all time is Gremlins. Right?
Gremlins. Oh, that's one of my
Gremlins.
favorites
I
as well.
love that creature feature, and I watch it every year.
Oh,
But I like the one of the things that I love about that film. Like it was made in the 80s, wasn't made for a lot of money. But you can actually reach out and touch the gremlins, the mogwais. You can reach out and touch them. You like if it was made today, it would be CGI or it'd be Andy Serkis running around
yeah.
in a mocap suit, which is fine because I
Yeah.
love Andy Serkis. But there's a charm to an 80s film. And I love the second one as well, but I don't watch that as much.
Yeah, I really love like practical
Mm,
effects.
yeah,
That's like almost a lost art form that's
yeah,
not done often enough these
yeah,
days.
absolutely. Yeah. One of my other favorite films, which was made in the early 90s, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original one.
Yeah, I
And
watched that a lot.
the thing that I love about that film is that it's actual guys in the suits.
Yeah.
And it's a vivid memory of mine. But I was watching Live and Kicking. Are you old enough to remember Live and Kicking?
Yes.
It was on BBC One. So I was watching that, and they actually had, I can't remember which it was one of the four turtles. They had one of the heads there. I think it was like Leonardo or Donatello. Because yeah, I think it was one of those two. I might be wrong, but they just showed how they operated it. It took like 15 people to operate it, and it's just a head to operate the head because it's puppetry. So they like the eyebrows were being were independent to the eyes, and the mouth movement was independent to everything else. So like just the immense creativity, and like obviously these days it's all CGI. So and I mean the films aren't that good, but it made two films, I guess. But yeah, there's yes, the practical effects. Yeah, you can't beat it, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah, I think it has its own charm.
So do you have a dream role or dream genre that you haven't done yet that you'd like to?
Oh, there's so many. I have a list. I have a list. So I would love to play a rock star
Okay,
and get out my comfort zone, and maybe even sing in a project one day.
okay,
I'm really into my music and going to gigs and I love how much the cast of Daisy Jones and the Six just threw themselves into those roles and even took up instruments that they didn't even play before. So that was true dedication. I'd love the chance to immerse myself in something like that. Vampire. I'm obsessed with vampire lore, and I'm a huge fan of classics like Bram Stoker's Dracula and True Blood series. So maybe you could combine those two things with being a vampire rock star like Lestat. So
Yeah, why not?
also
Laura
uh,
Croft.
Lara Croft. You said it before me. She would be an absolute dream. She's been my hero since I was a kid. I'm a huge fan of the games, and I grew up with the classics. So yeah, I think that she's definitely, I would love to portray her in any way, shape, or form. So just put it out there, put it out the universe. I also love sci-fi and other things otherworldly. I'd love to play like an alien or an android. I think that would be a great challenge to experiment with the physicality and the speech patterns, much like Krish in Alien Earth or Eva in Ex Machina.
Okay, awesome. So what are you working on next that you can tell us about?
I haven't got any projects that I can actually talk about because they're all sort of in development for
Yeah.
next year. But I would like to give a shout out to British Horror Studio because I got the opportunity to dip my toes into the fantasy genre and played a small part, but it was a very fun part and possible expansion on that in the future. We'll see. But I played a dancer in The Slave and the General, which is the sequel to The Slave and the Sorcerer. So it was really nice to work on something that's, not really anyone else is making fantasy and that scale at that level in Scotland. So I'm looking for things that are different, that stick out, that aren't necessarily going, with the trends.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean the you just have to look out a window that you've got so many different terrains in Scotland that you can be used for like an alien
Yeah.
world or whatever, So yeah, awesome. Um so uh, so in doing my research, you've been involved in short films and TV series as well, as features, obviously. Do you approach the characters differently, depending on the medium?
Um, I guess I do in terms of like I think that I worked in more short films when I was starting out, so I'm more used to doing features now. I would never say no to a short film, but I think as I've got older and more experienced, I like to put more prep in, and it's just so happened that those have mostly been features. But probably these days, no. Um, I think, yeah, I think I like to approach every project with the same level of enthusiasm, the same level of homework that I like to, level of preparation that I like to do leading up to something. So I'd actually say no, but it depends also on the genre. Obviously, if it's a role that's more physical, then I'll probably amp up, my workout routines and train as if I was, the character. So yeah, I'd probably pretty much the same.
Awesome. Okay, great. Um, so within the research that you do for your role and the prep that you do you create a playlist with your love of music?
I do. I'm so glad you said that because music for me is an amazing tool that I like to have in my actor's toolkit. And it's almost necessary for me at this point. Like, I just love to immerse myself in songs, listen to music all throughout the day, and I can't sleep without it. I listen to Miles Davis when I go to bed. It's always playing something. Um, yeah, I think it's important to use anything that you can. I mean, every actor has a different approach, but I like to use everything that I can to help immerse myself in that character's reality. And music is so powerful, you know, it can completely change your mood in such a short period of time. And music is so essential for film to add to scenes. And I think that Chris, our composer that worked on Death Among the Pines, did an excellent job of adding, you know, another layer of tension and mystery to that. So shout out to Chris. I actually have a couple of playlists that I like to share on social media, just to give, you know, people that are maybe a fan of the films a little bit of insight into how I imagine it's not just like the music that I feel relates to the character and their story, but also I like to envision, like, I like to imagine certain songs or tracks when a scene's been like put together in my head.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would probably, if I was given the choice, if we had the ability and the money to, and if I ever had any power over choosing songs, like I would love that. Yeah, imagery and music work so well together. I've just went on a tangent again.
Absolutely. Not that you went on a tangent, that's absolutely fine. No, but music is so important. So what's on Angela's playlist?
Angela, give me 2 seconds actually. I have it on Hamstone playlist. Let's see. So for Angela, we have Don't Tell by Royal Blood. We have Cannonball by The Breeders. We have Criminal, which is a very well-known one by Fiona Apple. No spoilers there. We have Pyretta Blaze by Typo Negative. Object of Desire by Actors, which is one of my favourite bands, and had the opportunity to meet them a couple of years ago, which was a massive highlight. They're brilliant, so do check them out because they're great. Wolf Moon by Typo Negative. Your Joy Is My Low by IMX. Black Number One, again, a classic for me. Typo Negative. Christian Woman by Typo Negative. So you probably got the impression that I like Typo Negative from that.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, awesome.
I also have Carla from Mercy Falls. I've got her playlist that's you can see that I've shared onto my Instagram as well.
Awesome. Yeah,
Amazon.
wonderful. Yeah. Awesome. So so with the popularity of streaming services, what do you think the future of cinema is?
So I know myself, I'm a fan of indie film and discovering talent that I'm not familiar with. I get a lot of joy out of discovering people that I've not seen in films before and new directors and things. I'm driven more towards watching something based on the story. Like, it doesn't matter for me how much money is behind something or how big the names attached to it are. I'm finding that there seems to be a shift in attitudes towards indie film now. I think they're getting more of a light shone on them, which is great to see. And more of an appreciation for what can be achieved on the smaller budgets. I think there's more originality in a lot of the indie films. I'm getting quite tired of like remakes, and don't get me wrong, like they do have their place when done well, I think. But I personally would like to see more original stories. And I just hope that more people, other people are thinking the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Also Hollywood just needs to get their budgets under control, because like they're chasing after the fabled billion at the box office. Not every film's gonna do that.
No.
Like so don't give them an overblown budget. You know, it's like I mean, Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning, that cost way too much money to make, and it didn't make its money back. So
I haven't actually seen that yet.
it's a good film.
Enjoy it.
It's a good film, but yeah, it's they just spent too much money on it. So yeah, but I mean, not I mean, like Avatar's always going to make its money because you never bet against James Cameron. And the Avengers films are always going to make their money back because it's the Avengers. But like they can't expect every film to bring that in. I mean, look at Tron Ares, that didn't bring it in. So, you know.
Yeah, I'd like to see people taking more risks.
Yeah.
I think that people play it safe when it comes to especially Hollywood films.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more risk takers. That's who I'm sort of drawn to when working with people, is people that do sort of think outside the box. And
yeah. And you find that more in independent cinema because that's because what they lack in money, they make up for in like originality and like talent and like and just like creativity. Because like not having like not having an unlimited budget means that you can be more creative with what you and think outside the box in what you can actually do.
Yeah, I think with indie film, like the filmmakers tend to have a bit more control over it as well. So that's always quite freeing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely, because it's a film made by the creator rather than a committee.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So I'm guessing independent cinema is where you'd like to stay as a performer.
I mean, I wouldn't say no to like a huge project over in the States or something. I never want to limit myself. I think the sky's the limit, but I think my heart is in sort of homegrown talent and indie film, definitely. I find that, as you say, there's just elements of indie film that I'm more drawn to, and European cinema as well. I wouldn't mind working more in Europe.
Absolutely. And I mean, is it quite freeing for you to be using your own accent in the majority of your films?
Yeah, actually, because when I first went to college, we were sort of told, oh, you know, you have to be good at other accents. And I encourage actors to always, you know, try out accents and master as many as you can, if you can. You know, there's always accent dialect coaches for, you know, projects that require it. But yeah, it's really nice to represent Scotland, because I think that there's not enough Scottish actresses out there, sort of flying the flag for for talent here. So it's nice to just, yeah, it's just nice to represent my heritage.
Yeah,
It's-
absolutely. Yeah. I
But
mean, and someone like Kate, who I had the pleasure of meeting a few years ago at the London Film Festival.
oh, she's lovely.
Yeah, she's lovely. She's just a joy to speak to. She's a wonderful woman. And yeah, so yeah, she was incredible.
I'd really love the opportunity to work with her, actually. I remember when we were getting driven home after a filming day on Damaged, we had a really lovely conversation on the drive home. We were actually stuck in traffic, so I ended up getting to talk to her a bit longer than anticipated. And yeah, it was really nice to get her sort of insight and what she thinks about the industry. And she actually said to me after she was dropped off that she'd really like to work with me sometime. So who knows? I would really love to work. I mean, I know we were in the same film, but we didn't have the chance to work on any scenes, and I think that's certainly something to aim for.
Absolutely. Yeah, and she's one of the best. Yeah.
And that's also like going back to Slave and the Sorcerer and the sequel that I worked on, Slave and the General. Definitely check out Slave and the Sorcerer, because it's if you like films like Conan the Barbarian,
I do.
sort of old school sword and sorcery films,
Mhm.
Deathstalker and things, you'd really enjoy that because a lot of it is practical effects as well,
Yeah,
and it's done quite authentically, honouring the old school methods and the style of it as well. It's camp, it's cheesy, it's supposed to be fun, and I think
yeah.
that it's okay for a film just to be fun. Not everything has to
Absolutely.
be not everything has to be like social commentary or have
Mhm.
some deep meaning. It's
Mm.
okay to just switch off and have a bit of silly fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, can't yeah, I couldn't said it better myself. It's yeah, it's the practical effects are awesome. Um, she really is. Um, yeah. So where can we find you online to keep up with everything you're doing?
So you can find a lot of like my work. I do quite a lot of photo shoots and things, and also sharing, more information about my acting work. I post on Instagram, which is at Nicolette.McKeown, uh, as well as it's not just work that I post quite a lot of cute rabbit photos because I'm obsessed with bunnies and I have my own house rabbit. So yeah, as long as you know I'm giving a warning in advance, there's going to be a lot of rabbits and there's going to be a lot of musical obsessions shared there. I also have a Facebook page, and so you can follow me there too.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean rabbits are cute. So I
Oh,
used to have rabbits when I was younger.
yeah, I've really enjoyed talking
Me
with you,
too. Yeah.
and I hope that you invite me back on at some
Oh,
point.
absolutely, yeah. Whether it's a sequel to Death Among the Pines or the project that you can't talk about, yeah, keep in touch. We'll have you back anytime. Anytime you want
Thank
to
you so
talk,
much.
I'll have you
It's been
back.
a
Yeah.
pleasure.
All right. You look after yourself.
Thank you. You
Take
too.
care.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. Please follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram for more content. Bye for now.
Why don't you show what you can do? I hear a siren. Maybe you were wrong about me. I'm dangerous and still. Why don't you give me a sign, like the sea that leaves a trail along that shore? It's not your problem, it's mine. Everybody thinks that I'm okay. Sometimes I think I am too. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm waiting for the shockwaves to begin. Oh, won't you let me hold you for one time? Just a rainy day in a London cafe, a London cafe. So give me one last serenade. Say to me or swear at me till the night turns into day. And it was a shame when daylight faded because we didn't notice at all.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.